Segment 2, Sonny Hirsch Election Special. Sonny Hirsch, our entire technical crew. We want to thank him very much, as well as the producer of the show, Avi Myers. You can check us on Sonny's website at ntnm.org, where you can see all the shows. I'm the publisher of Jewish Chicago. Jewish Chicago is now out on the street, available free everywhere. Over 60,000 circulation. If it's gone where you're at, go to ntnm.org. You'll find a link there. Actually, I'll have to talk to Sonny. I just bought a new website. I don't know if I'll have it in. We actually filmed this before publication. I haven't written a word yet. But trust me, when this is out, it will be everywhere. Everywhere, period. Anyway, it is a pleasure to have somebody we've met prior, somebody who's presently a sitting judge running in the 12th Subcircuit, and I'll let her give you the boundaries. And that is Judge Andrea M., or is that on Facebook? Andy M., is it? Schleifer.
Andrea.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Avi?
Good, thank you. Pleasure to have you here again. Give us a little bit about your background.
Well, before being appointed to the court by the Supreme Court in 2010, I was a practicing attorney for 31 years and had gone to law school in the evenings after being a caseworker at Public Aid. But after leaving Public Aid, never became a public employee again until last year when I got appointed to the bench. I am running now from the Subcircuit, which includes the north and northwest suburbs. A little bit of Wilmette, and then Winnetka, and everything up to County Line Road, west to Arlington Heights, and even a little bit of Rolling Meadows, and then down to include Elk Grove.
Wow.
So it's quite a large area. When they drew the map, they drew it as a Republican district, and so they cut out Skokie and Morton Grove.
Ah.
So except for that, it's a contiguous area. A lot of Glenview, as I say, all of Northbrook, most of Northfield, and then the other suburbs.
But it seems I could be mistaken, but I think that area has at times voted very Democratic.
Only in the last few years, when Mary Kay Rochford, who is the person whose seat I am currently filling,
Yeah.
and whose seat I wish to fill for the next 6 years, ran along with Grace Dickler. They were the first Democrats to actually get elected as judge from that subcircuit. And in fact, when they ran, they had no opposition in the primary. This time, of course, I have 4 opponents in the primary, and then we'll again have an opponent in the general election if I am lucky enough to win the primary.
And we want to wish you a lot of luck, and we know you're out there hard campaigning and pressing the flesh and getting to know people and coming on shows like this.
Right.
So how do you find, is this the first campaign you've ever done?
I actually ran along the lakefront in 1994.
Ah.
Ran against Diane Marszalek at that point. And I didn't run against her. I was in the race, then they put her in against me. And I swore I would never do it again, but in order to keep my seat now, I do need to do it. And so I'm finding it a lot more refreshing, rewarding, and energizing rather than as discouraging as it was the first time when I had a machine running against me.
No, when you have a machine running against you, it's a lot rougher. There's no question about it. And yeah, and plus Diane is a very popular person. So,
yes, she is.
You know, she's got family history, and I mean, she's a real do-gooder. So,
right. She's just one of the kindest people I know. Her dad was a judge before whom I appeared on many occasions, and he was very, very supportive of me when I tried to become an associate judge, which is a judge that's elected by the full circuit court judges.
Yeah.
And he was very supportive of me all the way up until the time of that election when, of course, his loyalties had him supporting Diane.
Well, I feel forgiven for supporting his daughter.
I absolutely forgive him for doing that. I absolutely do.
So what kind of cases are you trying right now?
The cases that are coming before me are, for the most part, custody and visitation cases.
Ah.
They are cases that are in the Domestic Relations Division,
No.
but the parents never married. So in 1984, when the Parentage Act of 1984 was drafted
No.
by Julie Hamas, myself, and one or two others.
Oh, Julie, I actually thought she was the best person in the entire state house, if not state senate also, before
I would
she
go
went
for
higher
perhaps
office.
in the best person in the state, because I think the world of her.
She's an outstanding person. I wish she had run for Congress. I really wish she was, I mean, even though she's got an important job working for the state of Illinois, what she did for the CTA, what she did for other things, she's really an outstanding individual.
And she's got guts, she's got vision. If you want me to do an ad for her, I can do that in a minute.
Well, I don't think she's running again, but no.
Well, you know, she has responsibility for anywhere between a quarter and a third of the state budget.
Wow.
Under her purview, so it's really important.
That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that. So anyway, you were working with her.
I was working with her. We were working on issues of domestic violence and on issues of child support. And in those days, the only time anybody came to court for child support was when mom or the state said, he's the daddy and he should pay.
Wow.
And then the Supreme Court, both the state and the federal Supreme Court, made rulings which concluded that children who were born outside of a marriage should not be treated any differently than children born inside of a marriage. So the Parentage Act of 1984 was born. But even after that time, in 1985, most of the cases that were filed for out-of-wedlock children, hate that word, wedlock, locked in.
It is a weird word.
Weird word. Were still brought by moms. It was presumed on their part that they would get custody, and they were asking for money. Now, probably a third to a half of the cases that I have in front of me are dads who are asking for custody or visitation.
Really?
Amazing, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, at one point in time it was a given that the mother gets it and that's it.
And interestingly enough, historically, before that, it was a given that men got children as they got any other chattel, because they would help with the farm, they would help with the work.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, see, this is an area where, thank God, I know very little about the legal stuff with these sort of things.
Historical, perhaps, is not the most interesting to other people.
No, but the fact of the matter is, you know what, it's good to have a sense of history because it helps you understand the whole situation. Mm-hmm. And I think a sense of history is very important, and especially in a judge. So, you know, it'd be nice if some of the other politicians had a sense of history. And by the way, not to mention a sense of decency, but that's a whole different subject.
All the judges do.
No, you know what? I want to tell people. I'm interviewing 14 people total today. 12 of them are either judges or judicial candidates. And it is such a breath of fresh air compared to regular politicians. It is a much nicer breed of person, much more civil, and actually I enjoy it more, and I have to use a lot less Q-tips to clean my ears out after the shoot. Do you have a website?
I do have a website. It is www.electjudgeschleifer.org.
And I misspelled Schleifer the first time around, which I then fixed for the web and all the rest of it.
You did.
Spell Schleifer for us.
S-C-H-L-E-I-F like Frank, E-R. And it's .org.
.org, and you're going to all the various. At least you're in the Subcircuit and not in the county, so you don't have quite the wide range of places to go.
Right.
So I mean,
but if anybody has any place they think I should appear or would like to invite me to, please go to the website and link in to want to help.
No, that sounds good, and you can also be found on Facebook.
Right.
So anyway, I want to thank you very much, Judge Andrea Schleifer, and I want to wish you a lot of luck in the election. She's a very good person, no question about it. We don't endorse candidates on the air. For that, you can read Jewish Chicago to see all the interesting findings. And of course, thanks to Sonny Hirsch, our producer, and the entire technical crew, and you know, segment 3 coming up, and we urge you to try to watch all of the different shows we're doing throughout the course. Thanks, everybody. Next segment.